a documentary called A Glitch in the Matrix. It ostensibly concerns itself with simulation theory. So have you heard the notion that we're all living in a computer simulation, which has been around for some decades now, just as a concept. But it was kind of brought back to the fore in the last few years because Elon Musk was interviewed and said he thinks that the odds that we're living in base reality are something like 1 billion to 1. And that really sparked off a new interest in, simulation theory. And also back when it was first posited, there were a lot of cosmologists and physicists who said, oh, it'll be very simple to prove, to set up an experiment and prove that we are not, in fact, living in a simulation. And they haven't done it yet. So they haven't found a way to say for certain that we're not living in a simulation. And that's what this documentary is about. It hinges off of a speech given in France by Philip K. Dick back in the 70s. As you recall, Philip K. Dick is the author of the stories that became films like Blade Runner and Total Recall, Minority Report, and sort of a futurist without a strong connection to current reality. He could really go in different directions because he did a lot of drugs, frankly, and he himself had mental and emotional problems, and so he was really unconstrained about what he wrote about and where he took characters and ideas, which is great for a novel, not so great for regular life. But he gives this speech in France that they sort of come back to periodically during this documentary, and in the speech he talks about experiences he's had either in hallucinogenic states or just because he had a psychotic break and he saw pieces of another life, that he had lived, not in a different time, but in sort of in a parallel dimension kind of situation. And it's fascinating stuff. The documentarian then kind of wanders off into discussions with people who are all presented, by the way, as computer gaming avatars. You rarely see the real person. You never see the real person. You see their computer game avatar that's speaking. So it's like, whatever your World of Warcraft character is, that's who's giving the interview. And then these people talk about their experiences in virtual worlds and how they came to accept different realities, or whether they believe in, we're in base reality. There's a man who is a physicist who talks about building Minecraft worlds with his children and exploring that and how he feels like that's a different kind of world. I felt like it's a great movie. It's a topic that fascinates me. My career has been in computer and software all my life, so I think it's a neat exploration. But at the same time, they really let the interviewers or the interviewees, they really let them wander, into areas where you have to think to yourself, this person just had a psychotic break. This isn't an alternate reality, and maybe it is, and I'm wrong. But it's fascinating. I got a sense. Has anyone seen a Netflix show called The Midnight Gospel?
Yes.
By the makers of Adventure Time. Yeah. It kind of felt like that. You had these animated characters telling these very personal stories, sometimes deep traumas about their childhood and how they got where they are. So it's really good stuff. And it kind of captured that sensibility, which I really enjoyed. The film does run a little long. It's about 100 minutes, and they could tighten it up a little bit. I like what Dana said about these films need to go back and go through maybe another edit, before they go to distribution.
So it felt like it went on a little too long then, or it dragged?
Yeah, it did. And
was it overly heady?
Not especially. I mean, maybe from not from a technical point of view, maybe from a personal trauma point of view. They really got into some of these things people had experienced in their youth.
All right. So what rating would you give it?
I give it an 8. It's a great movie, and I think with a little tweak, it could be an even better one.
All right. Very good. All right. So Norm, you got to go?
Oh, no. Go ahead, please. Keep going.
No. You had something to say then, or?
I did. I actually saw Glitch in the Matrix as well, and while I found the people's stories a little interesting, I was kind of left hanging by the fact that they really didn't dive into any actual science.
I agree. Yeah.
So it's all philosophical, basically.
It was all philosophical and personal experiences and ponderances.
And anecdotal, yep.
Yeah.
All right.
And I could definitely have lived without the 10-minute confession of the Matrix killer.
That was rough, man. That was. Ooh.
All right, we'll save that for the film then. Okay,